How did Persia become Iran? The story no one told you. What if I told you that Persia did not fall? It did not vanish in flame, nor crumble into dust like so many forgotten empires. It survived, but the world stopped calling it by its name. And in the 20th century, with a single diplomatic letter, the name changed, and with it, the way the world would see an entire civilization. This is not just a story about geography. This is a story about identity under siege, about empires reborn, about revolutions that swallowed kings, about a nation that refuses to disappear, no matter how many times history tries to rewrite it. To understand how Persia became Iran, we must go back, far beyond politics, far beyond religion, to the beginning, before Greece, before Rome, before the word West meant anything. On a vast plateau guarded by mountains and scorched by deserts, early civilizations took root. Cities rose where rivers allowed life to bloom. Traders crossed routes that would later become the Silk Road. Ideas traveled, faiths formed, power shifted. Among the tribes who settled, there were peoples who called themselves Arya, the noble ones. From that word came Iran, the land of the Aryans, not a racial slogan, not a political invention, but an ancient linguistic identity carved into royal inscriptions centuries before modern Europe existed. Yet the world would not know them as Iranians. It would know them by the name of one small southern province, Pars, Persis, Persia. When Greek historians encountered the empire forged by Cyrus the Great, they labeled the entire civilization after that province. And because Greek history became the foundation of Western memory, Persia became the official name in foreign tongues. But inside the land, Iran endured. Then came Cyrus, a leader born in the 6th century before Christ. He did what no ruler before him had done. He united tribes, overthrew empires, and built the largest political machine the world had ever seen. From India to Egypt, from the mountains of Central Asia to the Mediterranean Sea. But Cyrus ruled differently. He restored temples instead of burning them. He freed captives instead of enslaving them. He allowed cultures to live instead of forcing them to kneel. It was not mercy. It was strategy. And it worked. The Achaemenid Empire became the world's first superpower. But Western memory, shaped by Greek rivals, painted Persia as decadent, indulgent, soft. That image would haunt the civilization for centuries. Then came the storm from the west. Alexander, young, ambitious, ruthless. He shattered the Persian army, burned Persepolis, declared himself king of Asia. But here is the irony. After defeating Persia, Alexander became fascinated by it. He wore Persian robes, adopted Persian customs, married Persian nobility. Even in defeat, Persian culture absorbed its conqueror. Empires collapsed, but Iran survived. The Parthians rose, then the Sasanian Empire, fierce rivals of Rome. They revived Iranian identity openly. In their inscriptions, they used the word Iran, the land of the Iranians. But history was not finished. In the 7th century, a new force surged from the Arabian Peninsula, Islam. The Sasanian Empire fell. Zoroastrian fire temples faded. Arabic replaced Middle Persian in administration and religion. But again, Iran did not disappear. It transformed. A new Persian language emerged, written in Arabic script but breathing ancient structure. Poets like Ferdowsi wrote the Shahnameh, preserving the memory of pre-Islamic kings. Persian scholars shaped Islamic science, philosophy, and medicine. The conquerors brought religion, but Iran shaped civilization. Centuries later, the Safavid dynasty made a decision that still defines the region today. They declared Twelver Shi'ism the state religion. This was not merely theology, it was political separation. Iran would no longer mirror the Sunni-majority Islamic world. It would stand apart, distinct, different, and often isolated. Fast forward to the 19th century. European empires circle like vultures. Russia to the north, Britain to the south. Oil discovered beneath Iranian soil. Foreign influence grows. The Qajar dynasty weakens. National pride erodes. Then, in 1925, a military officer named Reza Khan seizes power. He crowns himself Reza Shah Pahlavi. He wants modernity. Railways cut through deserts. Western-style schools rise. Traditional dress codes are abolished. The state centralizes power, but modernization requires something deeper. It requires psychological reinvention. To the west, Persia sounded ancient, exotic, decorative. Reza Shah wanted strength. He wanted sovereignty. He wanted to project not nostalgia, but power. So in 1935, he sends a letter to foreign embassies. From now on, the country will be called Iran, not Persia, Iran. The indigenous name, the ancient name, the name carved into Sasanian stone long before Europeans mispronounced Pars. It seemed small, but names shape perception, and perception shapes destiny. Then came 1953. Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh nationalized oil, challenging British control. The response was swift. A foreign-backed coup removed him. The Shah returned stronger. For many Iranians, this moment was betrayal. Foreign interference had crushed democratic aspiration. The wound never healed. The Shah accelerated modernization. Skyscrapers rose. Western alliances strengthened. But dissent was silenced. Opposition was imprisoned. Inequality widened. And beneath the surface, anger boiled. In 1979, it exploded. The Islamic Revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile. The monarchy fell. The Islamic Republic of Iran was born. This was not Persia reborn. It was Iran redefined. Religion became governance. Clerics replaced kings. Anti-Western sentiment hardened. Then came the Iran-Iraq War. 8 brutal years. Hundreds of thousands dead. Missiles raining on cities. A generation shaped by sacrifice and trauma. Isolation followed. Sanctions. Economic pressure. Nuclear suspicion. But Iran did not retreat. It expanded influence regionally. In Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen. Supporting allied groups. Challenging American presence. Positioning itself as a regional power. In the 2010s, nuclear negotiations led to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. Hope flickered. Sanctions eased. Then the agreement collapsed. Sanctions returned. Tensions rose. By the early 2000s, Iran faced internal protests. Economic hardship, social restrictions, calls for reform. Young voices filled the streets. Women demanded autonomy. The state responded with control. Now, in 2026, Iran stands at a crossroads. Regionally, it holds significant influence. Militarily, it has expanded missile and drone capabilities. Diplomatically, it deepens ties with Russia and China while navigating ongoing Western sanctions. Its nuclear program remains under international scrutiny. The Middle East remains unstable. Conflict simmers between Iran and Israel through indirect confrontations, cyber warfare, proxy tensions, shadow conflicts. And inside the country? A population where the majority is under 35, highly educated, digitally connected, watching the world through smartphones even when global platforms are restricted. There is pride in ancient heritage, There is frustration with economic hardship. There is tension between tradition and modern aspiration. Persia evokes ancient glory. Iran evokes geopolitical tension. But they are the same land, the same civilization, the same mountains that watched Cyrus rise, the same deserts that saw Alexander march, the same cities that endured Mongol fire, the same nation that survived coup, revolution, and war. Persia did not become Iran. Iran was always there. The world simply caught up to the name. And today, as global powers debate sanctions and strategy, as analysts speak of nuclear thresholds and regional alliances, beneath it all stands a civilization thousands of years old. It has changed religions, changed rulers, changed flags, changed names, but it has never vanished. The question is no longer how Persia became Iran. The question is what Iran will become next. Because history has taught us one thing: empires may fall, names may change, but civilizations that endure, they write the next chapter themselves. And Iran is still writing.